And good morning, Hoosier fans, and welcome to a victorious edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After Minnesota. I'm your host, Chad Schwarzkopf. The Indiana Hoosiers go on last night to beat Minnesota 82-72, increasing their record to 12-9, again being 500 in the Big Ten, 7-7. Biggest criticism that we've had recently is IU's bad starts, getting off to a deficit, double-digit deficit and everything, and very excited, very happy to see what Archie did with that and the game plan going in. Love the play call to start the game. Both the team has started off kind of slow recently, and notably as well, Trayce Jackson-Davis has kind of had slow starts or slow games to get going and tends to kind of start showing up and really playing physical and playing tough in the second half in these games. And in this game, I love the play call by going right away to a little bit of screen game and a dive to the basket by Trayce Jackson for a fantastic alley-oop by Rob. And obviously that gets the team going, it gets the energy up, it gets Trayce engaged and excited and physical into the game. But what it also does is that I think a play like that also builds confidence and some ease and comfort for the game for Rob. It allows Rob to feel more comfortable in the game, to get going. And offensively, we did start off well. We had a good start to the game. It was defensively where it kind of started to fall apart in the first half. And it was a little bit of a perfect storm at that point, which made the game get a little bit closer and allowed Minnesota to come back to get a 2-point lead in the first half on both poor ball handling, lots of turnovers in the first half, and then just poor defense, on-ball defense. Williams for Minnesota, as well as Carr for Minnesota, just kind of had their way getting to the rhythm. All of their guards, actually. Their guards were just tearing up our guards. Again, Marcus Carr is an All-American type of player. He's a fantastic player, fantastic guard. Cassius Winston kind of player, just very physical, very tough, can create and make some very ridiculous shots. So Al had his hands full, and he did okay with him, but and was there contesting a lot of those. But a guy like him is going to be able to get his. I don't know if we face them in the tournament or anything like that, Big Ten tournament, I mean. Maybe we do some meditation for Rob. We can picture Winston's face on Marcus Carr's body or something like that. Channel a little bit of what he did against Winston in the past. But yeah, those guys were able to get downhill whenever they wanted to, especially in the last probably about 5 to 10 minutes of the first half. Even was pretty much it. They just carved up our guards. And I give that to them, but then they needed help with that. And I don't know if it was a game plan thing of the guys being concerned to leave Robbins open for a dump on those drives, but I really wanted to see Trayce and Race stepping in and denying that drive. And it's very interesting to see how this team has evolved. And Archie Miller teams, as we've seen, and this is indicative of all college teams. As you go on through the season, you kind of find your identity and improve things, and things may fall off, and you kind of find what kind of team you've become for the year. And Archie Miller teams have definitely gotten better as the season goes on, and you start to see different guys contribute. And in this game, we're seeing the defense has faded off. It's almost been a flip. If you go back to probably shows at the beginning of the season that I've done, or look at any of the other games, what were we begging for? We were begging for 3-point shooting. We were begging for guys to make shots. Look at the numbers in the second half of this game. Second half is really when IU kind of turned it on and played really well on offense. Defense still lacked a little bit, but on offense, the ball was moving better. A lot of that was, again, our senior guard play, upperclassmen guard play, was a lot more solid. But in the second half, we shoot 66.6% from the field, and are 5 for 7, 71% from three. And free throws, we take care of those as well, because it became a very foul heavy. Those last 2 minutes were long last 2 minutes. 14 of 18, 77%, almost 78% from free throws. It's a fantastic shooting team. The volume's low there. If you're looking at threes there, 7 for 12 on the game, 58%. And the amazing stat that comes from that as well, thanks Crimson Cass and a couple other guys who put it on Twitter, Indiana cracked into the top 100 in 3-point percentage. That's amazing. Again, I would be shocked if you told me that at the beginning of the season. And I would probably guess, if you told me that, because I would probably guess that Anthony Leal has been playing a bigger part on this team, and that he is just knocking down threes like crazy. That would be my guess if you told me that the percentage was high like that. I'd probably guess that the volume was down like it is, but that would be my guess. But to see Rob hitting him nicely, taking him ever so often. Let's see, what was his makes on this one? Actually, never mind. I'll eat that one. Rob did not hit a single 3-pointer. He took 3 of them, so it's good for him. I want to see him shoot. But 3 guys were 100%, made all the threes that they took. Al made 2, shot 2. Armand shot 3, made 3. And Jerome shot 2, made 2. So guys that took and missed, though, are just Christian, Trey, and Rob. So Rob should at least get one of those. And he can. But I like seeing Rob trying to get a shot. And I liked Rob offensively as well in the second half. He looked more confident. He looked more engaged in the game, and ended with 10 points. He was getting to the rhythm. He was getting to the rhythm of the game and getting to the rim when he found those little windows and everything. I think guys were a little hesitant once they got there. Al kind of had a moment in the game where he got there and didn't really have any destination or what he wanted to do, and that's tough when you go against Minnesota, because Robbins down below is the number 1 shot blocker right now as far as stats go in the Big Ten. So he kind of got caught. And a few guys, they had a decent amount. Let me see, how many blocks did they end up with in this game? 4 blocks. So not tons of blocks. 3 blocks by Robbins. But taking care of the ball, just offense, everyone is starting to play within their game. When we play well on offense and we have these wins, I still don't feel like it's anyone's playing outside of their game or their abilities. And this wasn't a game where you look at it and you say, oh, wow, look at that score. He took over. He really turned up from what he normally does. that wasn't the case. I mean, sure, you look at Jerome Hunter, and he had a career high 16. But this is something that should be within Jerome's wheelhouse. And I think that's within his game, and I think he could even take more. But his numbers are fantastic. I mean, in 20 minutes, he was 5 for 6 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, like I said, 4 for 5 from free throws. We took care of those. Got down 2 rebounds, no assists, 3 turnovers. That's a good stat line. 1 steal. It's a fantastic stat line. For a guy that's going to be a playmaker and everything, again, maybe the volume. I'd like the volume to go up maybe a slight bit. Turnovers that's not the greatest, but if you're going to be a playmaker and a player like Jerome Hunter is, you're going to have a few turnovers. That's fine. You're making plays. I'll take 4, maybe even 5 turnovers from him a game if he's creating and making shots like this. I know that's bad to say because we want to stay under around 10. And turnovers was really kind of the bad thing to look at. Let me linger on that for a minute, and just to say, points off turnovers for them, 25 points. So you clean that up, and this game's a blowout. Take care of the ball a little bit more, and the game's a blowout. Second chance points, they also got 15 second chance points. A lot of those, I feel, were just crazy bouncing rebounds. And then in the scramble, one of their guys would be kind of sitting under the basket and luckily able to grab it and just lay it right in. So there's a few of those that are luck. And that's honestly what a good amount of what second chance points are. You can get a good rebound, you can get a good box out, you can get another chance at a score. You can also equally have the ball just bounce funky and perfectly go over your player that is boxing out and doing what he should, and it bounces to a guy that's just kind of standing there. So second chance points, again, it is a tough stat to look at. But again, we are 13 in the end as well, so there's not too much difference there. The thought of the game that I tweeted out beforehand, while I prefaced it by saying that it's a pretty corny one, but my thought going into this game was have fun. I wanted the players to have fun. This was a game that they needed to win. This is a game that they should have won, and they did. They took care of business. Minnesota's not great on the road, and they had a few players injured. Kind of one of their star guys broke his hand, finger, or something this week, and then their center was possibly had a little bit of an ankle issue. I didn't really see that. I never saw him hobble or anything. So he kept it pretty close to the chest if it was bothering him at all. But I wanted the players to have fun. And the reason that is because this team has definitely lacked confidence this year in a lot of times. And I know Archie drills home to them about the turnovers, about taking care of the ball. And I think they listen to that too much and to a default to where it makes them play rigid and it makes them play concerned. And when they do make mistakes, when they do make turnovers, they get down on themselves. And you just don't see, and you can go back and shows on this as well, you don't see this team be very expressive. And I note that more towards the upperclassmen, because this was what was on those teams, and what was bugging me is that you didn't see emotion one way or the other when they made good plays. When something happened, you just didn't see fire. Trace Jackson Davis gets fiery and gets emotional when he gets an and one situation. You'll see him holler and have and get going when that happens. But the one player that you always see enjoying himself, and after he makes a play, he's smiling, he's having a good time, that's Jerome Hunter. You've seen it. You know it. It's exciting. It's funny to see that, but he's got that big old smile. He's got no poker face. Love to play poker against him because I think he shows his hand. I think he just wears that emotion. And when you're having fun, you see what happens. You feel looser. You can get going in the game. And I think a decent amount of the guys had fun in this game. And I hope they can build on that. I hope we can get more confidence in our games from that. Talking about other players in this game, Trayce Jackson-Davis, I think he played within his wheelhouse. Did pretty good. A lot of times, obviously, teams are doubling for him, and he's taking it to the chest a lot more with the advice that he obviously hears some of the noise of people getting on him about not being physical enough, not being tough enough, and he was a little tougher in this game. And teams were trying to double him. Minnesota was trying to double him, and he was quicker with his decisions to go to the rim and scored a lot of beautiful points from that. Just immediate catch, spin, get to the rim. Don't wait for that double to happen. But then he did have the patience when he needed to as well. He's very good with his classmate, Armaan Franklin. When they're doubled up on the same side, there was one time, I think it was in the first half, I don't have it in my notes, but when Armaan gave the ball to Trayce on the block, and maybe Trayce didn't like his position or where he was, but he held it for a little bit while and dribbled. And I think it was Carr that was guarding Armaan at this point. Carr and the other guard kind of looked very similar. They had similar hair, so that kept throwing me off. But whoever was guarding Armaan did a few digs down. And by the second or third dig, Trayce saw something there, kicks it out, and Armaan was ready, caught it, and made one of his threes. So I like that. I like it when he takes his time, when it's with a purpose, or when he can probe, I guess, to the point of knowing I can't get to the rim, or I'm not confident that I can get to the rim, but let me see if I can kind of fool you that I'm going to try to get there, draw that man off Armaan, and kick it out to him. I don't know if that's what he was doing. I believe that is. I hope that is. Just kind of take it if it is. Trey Galloway had a decent game, got in there, had 13 minutes, shot a three. That's fine. I don't mind if he shoots 1-3 a game. I'll give him 1-3 a game. He needs to improve that. He's a decent shooter. He becomes more of a threat since he can slash to the rim. If he develops that outside shot, it gets better for him moving forward. Got in a little bit of foul trouble. Did a decent job guarding. Again, I think just the screening action and the way these guys were able to get downhill carved us up on defense and gave us troubles. And I think that's one reason why you didn't see Christian Lander get a lot of minutes in this game. He struggles on those dribble drives, and getting to the rim is something that the player he's defending has happened a decent amount. And so I think that's why you saw limited minutes from him. And then also arguably as well, why you also saw minutes from him was because he was playing a lot better. Our guards started to turn it on and play a lot better, especially offensively. The interesting thing to see, I mean, at least a minute or two, and again, maybe it's, again, because our guards are guards were playing better. We didn't see Leal get a minute into that game. Not even in there. I don't know. I'm maybe there wasn't the window as coach saw it to get him in there. Some of the other guys were hitting threes a lot better. But it was interesting not to see him get any minutes in that game. It confuses me a little bit. I guess the rotation was fine. Everything was working well offensively. Defensively was where it struggled, and he maybe was not as confident with Leal at guarding the dribble drive and on the ball. I feel like he's been pretty good on the ball. But the good thing to see is that doesn't get a guy like Leal down. And it's part of again, I'm sorry you watch this show. You've heard me say it many times, but it's part of the great culture that I see developing in the guys on this team and in the younger classes, especially. The younger classes are playing a lot better, and just the culture of them. They want to work hard. They want to contribute where they can. They want to do what they can for the team. And Leal not getting the minutes, but then getting out there after the game. Leal and Lander, as reported by a lot of the guys that cover Indiana basketball, were out there taking shots at the end of the game, shooting threes. And Trace Jackson Davis was even out there rebounding for Anthony. And Leal was hitting him. I mean, in the video that I saw, they were all net. Everyone was going in. And I know you should make those. You should, if you're just sitting there hitting shots, make those. That's about rhythm. That's about getting your form right and everything like that. In the similar situation, I'm sorry to switch sports, but I played soccer my whole entire life. And that was the one thing that bothered me always about players is when they're warming up, they just, in soccer, you'll see guys put the ball at the 18 and just walk back, look at the goal, and take shots. And same with basketball. How often do you get to kind of stand there and kind of line up your shot and everything like that? It's fine to get your rhythm and your mechanics right, but it's not game time situation. So same with soccer. I used to always bug guys, put your back to the goal, heel the ball behind you, turn around and shoot immediately. That's more like a game. So yeah, getting your mechanics, that's fine. He's got the mechanics and everything like that. I want to see him maybe run a little bit more of a drill that would be dribble to the side, shoot up. And maybe he was, but just to see that effort out there, just to see him not get down on himself for not playing, not getting any playtime, not playing in the game, but getting out there to take shots. And again, same with Christian Lander. Didn't make a shot, didn't play the greatest game, and could get down on himself, but instead he's out there shooting again. He's out there trying to make himself better, and that's great. That's culture. And I think that just continues with the guys that we currently have slated to join this team. Logan Duncombe, he's got that. He's got that hustle. He's got that hard worker. He's got that, I'm going to do what I can for this team. And CJ Gunn, from what I hear, he's got that as well. And so that's very exciting, Hoosiers. That's something very excited to be about this future of this team and the players that are coming and the attitude that they bring. So, got to wrap it up here. I'm getting a little long. I know when it's a good game, when it's a good win to talk about, you get excited to talk about more. IU plays again Saturday. That fantastic noon game time. Can we get around that? 9 and noon. We're the 9 and noon team. Michigan State. Don't Google them. Don't look at the highlights or what you're seeing on press on them. They're getting better. They're doing better. They're a game that we have to take seriously. They had struggled at the beginning of the year, but they're starting to figure things out, similar to what we have dealt with. So we got to be ready. They're always a well-coached team. So got to be ready for that game. Got to get up and get going for that game. So, yeah, let me end it here, guys. Thank you for watching this edition of Hoosier Morning After. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There you can watch it live every morning after the game. You can also follow me on Twitter at General Chadwick. There you can find information about the game, and if you want to, tweet me a question, and I'll answer it on the show. Thank you for fellow Bloomington South grad and old neighbor of mine, Bob Thompson, for producing the music you hear on the show. That'll be it. I'll catch you next time, the morning after the show. Until then, go out there and have a wonderful day, and go Hoosiers.